versus Python series number 1. So today we are going to discuss basic concepts, programming concepts of Java and also Python. Normally we see the tutorials either with Java or Python, and why we are discussing together. I always believe that the shortest way to learn something is find its previous version or find its competitors. Assume we have Android version 1.0 and I want to know the Android version 2.0. So the quickest way is find the difference between them. So now what we are going to do is we are going to try to understand the basic variables if, else, and while loop and for loop, and we are going to solve one problem with using the both the programming language. Let's get started. So since we want to discuss about basics, I opened W3 School. W3 School is one of website where it provides things very simply. So let's get started. First we will see Java. So Java variables are nothing but a storage of temporary storage. For example, you wanted to do modify a string, then you have to store it in a variable to modify it in a string. If you want to store variables which are integers, then we have int. If you want to store in a float, like assume salaries, some decimal values, then we have float. We have characters, simple characters, which we use very rarely. We have char, and we have a boolean, which is true or false. This is for Java. Okay, let us see what is there in the Python. Python also have the same variables. I'll open Python in a separate. Python also have the same variables. If you go and click on this Python variables, it also have a similar sort of variables. If you can see this, simple, it has a variable name. It has a string, it has int, it has a float, it have a boolean. So these are the variables. Now let's get started. Let's jump into a program. We'll take a sample program and let's see how we are going to solve with Python and also with Java. So I have a replit here. I have commented the code so to save time while typing, and I have a Python Java replit here, and I have a Python replit here. Now what we do is, what the problem we are going to solve is, if we given the series of numbers, the program is going to identify whether the number is odd or number is even. Okay, let's get started. So as we know that the basic program, the basic syntax is public static void main string args. So I have given this. Now in order to take input from the user in Java, we use a class called scanner. So scanner I'm copying here, pasting here. So this is scanner. Scanner, it passes a method, scanner method, and it will. So basically you can think this as a class, and we are creating object for the scanner. Now we need to give the first print statement, that is system print. Okay, so basically we are asking the user to give the starting number. Once the user give the number, we have to store this starting number as part of int variable. So I'm storing here int. If you see in Java, we have to tell the variable what format it belongs, right? So here what I'm doing, it belongs to int format. Same thing, I'm going to ask again to give the user the range, and I'll be telling him the end number, and this is end. Okay, now we got two numbers, start and end. Now what we need to do, we need to loop from start and loop from end. So once we go to the loop of start and end, we'll take each number and validate whether it is odd or even. Odd, which is divisible by 3, is odd number, which is divisible by 2 is even number. That's a basic math. Okay, I'm copying it full for loop and explain what it is. All right, you might wonder why I'm copy pasting. So in this era, you don't have to remember the syntax. You need to know what's going on, and the syntax, code, everything provided by our AI tools. So don't worry about you just have to by heart the code. You have to write it. You have to type it. Please don't do that. Understand the basics. Understand the simple logics, and you can take help of AI and you can do the programming very easily. Okay. Now what I have done, just closely watch it. Let me do some indentation. Okay, perfect. Observe this for loop. What we are doing here, we are telling for loop in Java, first we need to initialize. So what initializing we are doing is start number. If the start value is 10, then the first value is going to be 10. Only the first time this is the start will be assigned to num, and from the next time the thing which is going to work is verification and increment. So what we are telling, num is equal to start and num is equal less than equal to end. Either it should be less it or it should be equal to end and num plus plus. And what we are taking, we are validating the whatever the num is coming is percentile 2 is equal to 0, and we are printing it. And again we have to close this scan dot close. Now close the bracket. Okay, perfect. Let me remove this code also. Just remove it. All right, if you see here, let's see. Okay, let's run and see if there any problem. We'll fix it off. So we have a class main, we are taking the first number, second number, and we are looping into for loop, and then we are percentile will equal 0, 2 is equal to 0, then it's an or 1, else it. Okay, let's run. It's running. See, it's asking for starting number. Let me give 10. It's giving the end number, it 50, and you can see it start printing. So initially when I give 10, it takes 10, and this only one time it's initialization. Then it comes here, num value is equal to 10, is it less than equal to 50, it's 50, then it keeps incrementing. Only one time this will execute, and then it's keep on executing this value until 50 is reached. It could be less or is equal to 50. What happens if I give only end? Let's try. You can ask it. 10, 50. You can see the value is printed till 49, because I am telling 0 to 40. I am telling it reaches end. End less than end. End is a 50. Less than is 49. So it will print only 49. I'll just click it here. Okay. Now we can see here how a simple program has been solved. Now let us try to solve the same program using Python. We understand that Python, there is no difference between the variables. We have int variables, we have a string variables, we have a boolean, we have a same sort of variables. Don't worry, there's nothing difference with the variables with Python and Java. But here, if you don't have to tell Python that here, if you see here, sorry, here, if you see, I'm telling Java that a store it in an int, right? So Python is intelligent enough. We don't have to tell that it's particularly it. So I'm just the first line of code, and we don't have any initialization. We don't have to do anything. until unless you're creating a classes are doing. No public static void means nothing is there directly. Just give. Now let us analyze what is the statement. What we are doing is input, enter the first number. We are asking the user input. If the self-explanatory input means take the input. But whatever we are taking is the int, so we are converting into int. Next, the second, simple and straightforward. So, okay. So it automatically understands the first and second. Now what we do? We have a method called range in Python. So for I, there are no curly braces, there are no brackets. We just do for I in range. We are doing a temporary variable in range method of what we are doing, first comma second plus 1 because the index starts with 0. If you see, we have to give colon here. Okay. The only one small challenge with Python is it takes indentation very seriously, because see, in Java we have this curly braces and all, right? So Java knows it. Okay, the interpreter knows is that okay, this is has curly braces, these things and all. But in Java there is no concept of curly braces. That's why we have to be little careful while giving the indentation, and it takes little time to get used with the indentation. But when we use IDEA tools, or we have a tools, we have commands to automatic indentation, but you need to get hands-on, you need to get hands-on to get this indentation workout. But initially 1 or 2 days you might feel why the error is coming, it's not telling why the comparing. If you have any error and all like that, the feeds, feel free to copy the post and put it in ChatGPT. I can show that as well. Okay, let's get started. For loop, inside you have to give if I percentile 2 is equal to 0. There is no curly braces, then we have to put colon. Print, okay, format. This is a format F where we have to pass the arguments, right? If you see in Java, there is a percentile yes, we need to format, right? I will show in Java. Okay, so we are just passing this num plus like that we are using, right? In here we can pass one base, format is, we can format post in the color. If percent it is even. Yes, again colon, it should be below this. If it's not percentile b2, then it is odd. That's it. So simple, nothing else is there. You can see the lines of the code which we have in Java versus which in Python. It's simply straightforward. Let me run it. Just I'll console delete. I will give same 10, 50. You can see this one, 50. If I remove this one, okay, let me run. 10, 50. Obviously, it will display till 49. So in this video, we have learned basic variables. We have learned for loop, if condition, and we also we have also executed the same program with Java and Python. So in upcoming tutorials, we are going to take a small concept and we are going to understand the concept in Java and Python, and we are going to use the same use case to solve in both programming language. In that way, if you know Java basics, you are going to learn Python. If you know Python, you are going to learn Java. Thank you everyone. Please feel free to subscribe my channel, like my channel, so others can benefit out of it. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.